What is going on, everybody? Welcome into TTP Sports, and the Flyers actually win a game. The Flyers win in Boston, something they haven't done when I just looked it up before this. They haven't won in the TD Garden in Boston since 2011. That is 13 years we are talking about here. They haven't won in regulation in Boston since 2011. That is a very long time since they won in regulation against the Boston Bruins in the TD Garden. My God, did they need this win? And oh my, did I expect them to win in Boston against the Bruins? No. Did I expect them to shut them out when winning? No. Absolutely not. But the hockey gods work in weird, strange, mysterious ways. And that's what happened in today's game. Flyers win 2-0. Tyson Foerster gets a bingo in the second period, and Joel Farabee gets the empty netter to seal things away. Sam Ersson played a very spectacular game, especially when the Flyers had their, usual defensive breakdowns throughout the game. There definitely were those sequences throughout tonight's game. Definitely not as many as in previous, because I think the Flyers played a lot better defensively tonight than in most games that we have seen this year. Offensively, still a little bit of a struggle, even though they did get some dangerous chances in this game. Korpisalo robbed the Flyers on a couple of chances throughout the game. He robbed Bobby Brink when he had a wide open net short side. He robbed Garnett half away on a 2-on-1. I believe that was, directly after a penalty kill was killed off. Who else did he rob in today's game? Matvey Michkov tried the Michigan once again, and honestly, I thought he was going to get it because he had all the time and space to do it. He had the puck ragged on his stick. I guess just Korpisalo and the Bruins defenders were just prepared for it, for it to be a Michigan, because Korpisalo already had his shoulder up there on the corner post of the net. But yeah, there definitely were a few chances that the Flyers were robbed on there. But Tyson Foerster, after a little bit of a breakdown, I wouldn't say a breakdown, but like a forced turnover by the Flyers in the offensive zone. And there were some of those weird moments throughout the game. But Foerster out there with Tippett and Morgan Frost finds the puck. He initially shot it first, it got blocked, but then eventually gets the puck back a couple of seconds later, throws the biscuit on net, and he beats Korpisalo to give the Flyers a 1-0 lead. And in terms of shots, the rest of the game, the Flyers barely had any, I would say, for the rest of that second period. And that was one of the few second periods the Flyers actually won this year with a positive goal differential. I was very shocked, especially shocked there. But penalty kill was very huge today. Very huge. There was a 5-on-3, I believe that was in the first period, if I'm not mistaken, where the Flyers had to go like a minute and a half of a 5-on-3. Thankfully, the Boston Bruins just could not figure out anything there. Like I said, the Flyers defended very well in this game. They kept a lot of the dangerous chances basically to the outside. There were very few dangerous chances for the Bruins in this game, and when there were dangerous chances, Sam Ersson was there to make those saves. We'll definitely ignore the goal that he almost scored on himself in the third period on one of the Flyers' power plays in this game. Oh my God, that would have been disastrous that puck went in. It was, a miscommunication, I believe, between him and Andre on the low wall when Boston dumped the puck back into the Flyers' end, and there was just miscommunication. One of the Boston players comes up, Ersson tries to move the puck away. It takes a weird bounce, it goes off of his skate, it stays on the goal line, and you see a stick from one of the Flyers keep it on the goal line in between Ersson's skates, and the puck does not cross the line. It was one of those weird things, and I think it was Tyson Foerster's stick that saved the goal there from Ersson basically just almost embarrassing himself in that sequence, because that, like I said, that would have been disastrous. It would have taken away from the fantastic game that he did have tonight, because he made some huge stops for you, 100%. Stopped some cross-crease plays, managed to get on there on time, was reading plays well. He was just making the saves that he needed to make. Like I said, there were very few dangerous chances for the Bruins, and when the Bruins did get chances that were clean and that were good looks, Ersson was there to make the saves. So he had basically a really good night tonight at the office in the crease. And, and that's basically the Sam Ersson experience, because when he is on his game, he's really on and he is really good. But it's basically just two drastic differences. When he's on, he's very good, and then you're going to get a bad game from Sam Ersson where he's allowing 5 goals because there's no in between from Sam Ersson. It's either the really good or the really ugly. So we got the really good version of Sam Ersson today, and I guess we should have expected that, especially, when they beat the Minnesota Wild the other night when he does allow in 5 goals. I guess you should have expected I guess a better performance from Sam Ersson to bounce back there. So that was definitely very huge. It was very huge. It was a win that you needed, especially, when you don't beat the Montreal Canadiens on the second half of that back-to-back, which was kind of a joke in my honest opinion, because you were just completely flat the entire game against Montreal on Sunday, where you shouldn't have been because you were the team that was playing at home on a back-to-back. You didn't have to worry about traveling anywhere. You had to sleep in your own beds that night. You weren't the team that was traveling into Philadelphia that night, which was the Montreal Canadiens, and they completely ran you out of your own building because you looked that flat. If it wasn't for, Travis Sanheim scoring a goal, yeah, you tried to make the comeback late, but it was basically too little too late there when the score looked closer than what the actual game was on that Sunday night. Kolosov made his debut. I thought he was fine. There was one goal that he probably should have had, and that was the Caulfield goal that scored on Sunday on that power play. But it really was not a good game that Sunday night. It just was not. They were completely flat. They were completely lifeless, especially after a huge win the following day against the Minnesota Wild, where, you get 5 points from connecting, you get 5 points from Couturier, that entire first line goes off, and you really don't build off that. So that was very disappointing, and that was very frustrating to see, but this is also a very good win for the Flyers when they desperately, desperately needed it. They just did. And especially going into a place which has basically been a house of nightmares for you for a very long time, especially in regulation. You just can't seem to find a way to win there. You find a way to win there and you shut that team out. And it's also not to say the Boston Bruins are, going off this year to start. They're basically at 500. I think they were 4-4-1 coming into this game. The Flyers just put them below 500. They're seeming to have trouble scoring goals. Their power play is not that good. They're especially having trouble scoring in the third period. I think the broadcast said they've only scored 4 goals in the third period this year. So yeah, Boston's definitely having their issues as well with putting the puck into the net. They're having their struggles too. So the Flyers, I guess, took advantage of a team that was struggling, even though the Flyers didn't play their best, but it definitely was one of the better games that they have played the entire year, especially defensively. Because most game for the Flyers, it's basically a defensive train wreck. This was definitely one of their better played defensive games, basically of the entire year, and it kind of brought you back to the way they played defensively last year, where they were keeping teams to the outside, they were keeping the dangerous chances to a minimum, and basically, if you go into that entire third period, Boston really did not have many chances. They just did not. You can definitely say Flyers got a 1-0 lead. They go into the third period, and you can just describe that entire third period as classic suffocation of a defense. Flyers just keeping everything to the outside for Boston. They really can't get anything going. Every time Boston gets the puck into the Flyers zone, everything's to the outside, or the Flyers find a way to get the puck out, and they just basically play the dump and chase game on the forecheck. And that was what this game was. Third period, the Flyers outshot them 6-3. So Boston really didn't get any chances. Even though the Flyers had a power play, I believe Boston also had a power play in that situation. There was 4-on-4. The game really flipped in that third period because Boston, I felt like, had the better tilt of the ice in the start of it. But then there was a penalty, I believe, halfway through, or around like, a little over halfway through the third period. It was, Emile Andre in the corner. I forget who it was for the Boston Bruins. They were basically going at it. The person knocks Andre to the floor. Andre throws a punch back, and they both get, I guess, coincidental roughing minors or something like that, and it becomes 4-on-4. And the Flyers really dominated the ice there on 4-on-4, and I feel like that kind of really shifted the ice tilt in that game in the Flyers' favor, and they really suffocated Boston from there to where they really couldn't get anything going through the neutral zone. They couldn't get anything going into the Flyers' end, and the Flyers were just basically able to clear the puck out, dump and chase, get the forecheck going, and just suffocate them once again. Just basically rinse and repeat. Rinse and repeat every single time. Boston tries to get in your zone, you suffocate them, you clear the puck, dump and chase, forecheck, Boston comes back into the zone, suffocate, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. It's basically what it was. And besides that, it was a really boring game because, but like I said, besides from the few dangerous chances that the Flyers had and Korpisalo robbed them on, and from maybe the very few dangerous chances Boston had, it was one of those very suffocating type of games where not much is going on. There's not really many dangerous, exciting chances. A lot of things are easy for the goaltenders and everything there. So it was one of those boring styled games. Basically, if you're trying to replicate it to like a 1-3-1 type of system, where it's the most boring system in hockey, even though the Flyers are not playing that type of system, it kind of reminds you of that feel. But you kind of need those boring wins. I don't care at this point because you're desperate to get some wins in the win column. I don't care how you get them. I don't care how you get them. I don't care if it's boring. I don't care if it's ugly. I don't care if it's exciting. All that matters is getting the wins right now. And that's basically what matters for this Flyers team, is getting 2 points in the standings and getting a win under the belts, third win of the season, so they can just get some confidence in their asses because they desperately need it. They just do. Goal scoring offense still an issue right now. Can't really seem to find consistency in that area. There were some good moments, like I said, with some dangerous chances. I think Michkov in the past couple of games, he had a really good game against Minnesota. Definitely it was, flat among the rest of them on Sunday against, so that basically wasn't just a him problem, it was the entire team problem. I don't even think Michkov was bad in this game. There just were some, adjustment things to the NHL that, are rookie mistakes that a rookie is going to make. And, him forcing passes to the middle, just some sloppy turnovers. Like I said, it's, rookie mistakes that a rookie in the NHL is going to make. That's basically what it was. It's nothing egregious or anything like that. That's just something that I'm like nitpicking there. But then he goes to act the other way and tries to do a Michigan where he almost scores on it. So, like I said, very, very minimal in the criticism of Matvei Michkov. He's eventually going to get going again when, he finds some offense. So, still basically around point per game, probably just below point per game or something like that. Kid's still going good. He's eventually going to get hot again. He's going to start scoring. He gets chances basically every single game. So they'll eventually start falling more consistently for him. I believe there was also a chance where Konechny made a beautiful pass cross crease to him in the third period, and he just whiffed on the puck. Matvei, that is. He whiffed on the shot where he had a wide open net to shoot at. So like I said, more as you get along in these games, they're going to start falling for him. They're going to start going for him. It's eventually just a matter of time at that point. So really not much to complain on the Matvei Michkov stuff. It's really just nitpicking stuff there entirely. But if you look for this game, some looking at just things that are in general there, so that entire line of Frost, Foerster, and Farabee, they all get credited for, the action on the Foerster goal. So Foerster gets the goal, Frost gets the assist, and then Joel Farabee gets the goal on the empty netter. I believe Owen Tippett was not out there for one of the goals, I believe. No, he was out there for the Foerster goal. He gets credited for the plus, but he did not record an assist on that play. Sam Ersson stops 23 of 23 shots, and that's also for Sam Ersson. I'm really not, I feel like overall his numbers really don't tell. I don't think he's really been the issue this year. Of course, there's been situations where he allows in bad goals, but I think he's been far from the issue. But that still goes to the fact that the Flyers' goaltending problems are going to be the biggest issue with this team, because right now we have no idea who the backup is going to be consistently, because I believe it was Alexei Kolosov in the backup spot, and the Flyers do have to make a decision on him by, I believe, Halloween. In terms of if he's staying in North America or if he's going back over to the KHL. So there's definitely going to be some decision making there, which I have no idea, because I don't think they fully trust Ivan Fedotov, because he looks like a guy that's just not ready for the NHL, that needs a lot of seasoning in the AHL before he's even ready. So I have no idea where they go from here. I don't know if they waive Fedotov and they just let him play down in the AHL as the starter, and Kolosov stays up here as Sam Ersson's backup. So there's definitely some things that make you wonder. Definitely do at the end of the day. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure what happens there. But overall, just needed that win. Just needed that win. And in terms of shots, the one difference that I'm also seeing with the Flyers too, besides their terrible 5-on-5 play, they're not generating as many shots as they did last season. They only had 19 shots on that. They had 7 shots in the first, 6 shots in the second, and 6 shots in the third. Basically, last year, it felt like they were averaging like 30 shots a game. They were always putting the biscuit on net. They were always finding a way to get the puck onto the goaltender and making, forcing him to make saves. It really doesn't feel like they're doing that as much this year, and maybe that's also a factor in why they're struggling 5-on-5. Because they really just can't generate anything 5-on-5, even though the 2 goals they scored today were 5-on-5, the Foerster goal and also the Farabee empty netter, even though that technically was an extra attacker for Boston, but, stays the same, scored at even strength, I guess you could say. They just need to find a way to really, really fix their 5-on-5 play. That's the biggest issue with this team is their 5-on-5 play. Certain things defensively and all that stuff. There was some scary moments in this game too. Jamie Drysdale leaves for a few minutes after blocking a shot, and I think he kind of blocked the shot with his dick, so it hit him right in the balls. So, salute. Salute there, and he's definitely going to be pissing blood for the next few days. Definitely had to take one for the team there, and it wasn't intentionally. He didn't try to intentionally block it with his penis, but it was one of those. He was bad. He was battling with a player in front of Ersson, and I believe the shot just happened to hit him in the nutsack, and he was definitely laboring there on that ship because the Bruins were ragging it for a little bit there in the Flyers' end before the whistle even happened, and he needed some help getting off the ice. He needed to go into the locker room, but he did eventually come back out for his next shift, so everything was fine there. He probably just needed a breather to sit for a little bit. My God, that sounds painful, taking a puck right off the balls. My God, I don't want to imagine that whatsoever because that sounds painful. I know you're wearing protection down there and everything, but seriously, that still has to fucking hurt. It's a big piece of rubber that is coming at you like a bullet, coming at you like a rock. It's hard as a rock, basically. So, my God. And also, I think for another sake for this defense, I think Emil Andre should stay in the lineup, for the foreseeable future. I think he looks pretty comfortable, especially more comfortable than when you looked at the beginning of the year last year. He looks more comfortable. He looks more stable. He's making some nice outlet passes. He definitely isn't afraid to throw the body. He definitely isn't afraid to stand up for himself. You definitely saw that when he forced the 4-on-4 play. So there's some interesting things there with Emil Andre. He does have some offensive upside. I think he's also been out there on the second unit power play. So I would definitely like to see how that operates with him out there more consistently. But that's definitely where I really state from here. It was a good win for the Flyers. Like I said, a win that they really needed. They just did. So we'll see how this continues for them. We just got to see. We just got to see how it continues. They play this Thursday. They got a couple of home games upcoming, Thursday and Saturday against St. Louis on Halloween, and the Boston Bruins again this Saturday. And then I believe they go on the road trip once again after this week, next week actually, against Carolina, Tampa, and Florida as you get into that November part of the schedule. And then how very important it is in the standings for, American Thanksgiving when you can really tell if a team's going to be a playoff team or not. That's, that's when this team really needs to start turning it around. They definitely need to. So right now the Flyers, they're 3-6-1 on the season. They're finally not the worst team in the Metropolitan Division. They're tied with the Pittsburgh Penguins, who are 3-7-1. They both have 7 points on the season. So Pittsburgh has been equally as bad as the Philadelphia Flyers. So if you look at the rest of the Metro standings, Devils are in first place. They have 14 points. Rangers have 13. Capitals have 12. Carolina has 12 as well. Columbus has 9. New York Islanders have 8, and the Flyers and the Penguins have 7 apiece. So if there's anything here on the Twitterverse before anything happens, I don't think there is. And here's a stat for you that's going to take you to a blast from the past. Sam Ersson is the first Flyers goalie with a shutout in Boston since Antero Niemaki on January 2nd of 2006. My God. That really shows you how little success the Flyers have playing in Boston, especially over the recent memory here. And also, Emil Andre, I believe, got credited with one of the assists, too, on the Foerster goal, so I believe that was his first National Hockey League point. So, keep that guy in the lineup. Keep that guy in the lineup. I think he deserves some more playing time, especially over a guy like Zamula. 100%. So let's see what else is there. Let's see what else. Nope, don't think there's anything here on the Twitterverse. Torts made some comments on Sam Erson's game tonight, so, he's probably really complimenting him in there, thou. No, definitely nothing else. Nothing else on that standpoint. So I think that is good enough of a place to call it tonight. I do see you here in the chat, Michael. Yep, Flyers actually shut out Boston in TD Garden. I'm very shocked as well as you are. No voicemails on the docket tonight, so it'll be a quick night for you fellas. So that'll do it. Like I said, everybody, I appreciate you for tuning in whenever you decide to. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. Do not forget to drop a like, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Does me a great deal of service. Also, don't forget to use the code TTPSPORTS, $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek. Great deal. Don't pass it up. Appreciate you guys for hanging out here or whenever you tune in, and